What's up guys, and welcome to today's video where I want to share a key takeaway of one of my clients' campaigns that we grew to $1,000 in sales after around 8 days. So we started from zero. This guy was making some sales on Facebook already and did pretty well, but he never really touched AdWords in a serious way. So recently we hit the mark of $1,000. Now it's not yet consistent, like we were doing around 1,000, afterwards it was less again. But I hope to get to this consistent 1K very soon. And of course, while we were doing that, there were all kinds of issues. It went relatively smoothly in general, but still I want to share like the key takeaway, what's super important, what you need to keep in mind, the one thing to know when you scale campaigns like this. Now, if you want some in-depth guidance and some in-depth help on how you can get this done for your own campaigns and for your own online store to make thousands of dollars in sales with AdWords, check out the link in the description to my AdWords course, the eCom PPC Academy. We're still running a pretty good discounts and having some new content that I'm releasing this week and the next week. But let's just get started with the video. If you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, and let's get started. Alright guys, so one of the keys when selling products on shopping, of course, is picking the right products. And in this case, when you did some business on Facebook ads before, this can definitely help you out. Now, I want to give you the first tip, and of course, don't worry if you didn't have success with Facebook ads so far. There will be also some more stuff in this video, but if you worked with Facebook ads and you got some sales, this should always be your first try. Like, I recommend people that when you made sales on Facebook ads, try these products on Google Shopping as well. Now, of course, if your Facebook ad products were like super visual, they were like super trendy, and you just generated some buzz around these products on Facebook, people bought them because, you know, they went super viral, this is not necessarily the best way to actually sell a shopping product. But still, it means that your product pages did convert. It means that your store was able, to convert these products if you want, and at least you have some proof of concept. Now, this doesn't of course mean, like I said, that these products will do very well in shopping, but as you have to start somewhere, this is a very good point. So in our case, we actually did this too. We came up with a handful of products that we never advertised before, and a handful of products that we were advertising on Facebook before that did somewhat well. And out of these, actually one that did well on Facebook was also doing well in this case. And this is very, very interesting because, like I said, the requirements are entirely different, but you will see that if you start with this will always help you. Now, like I said, you don't need to have a successful Facebook product in order to sell on shopping. So if you want to start from scratch, and if you didn't sell with Facebook ads successfully so far, I also have another video on how to get started with shopping that you can watch right now as well. But also, when you run with shopping, it is absolutely necessary that you know how to test and actually when to stop testing. This is probably the key takeaway that I took from scaling this client campaign to almost $1,000 a day, or at least $1,000 in that particular day. We still didn't, like I said, didn't hit this consistency yet. But this is super important because probably after 2 days, when things were not going that well, I could have stopped because we were spending in the beginning around like $30–40 a day, and it didn't convert immediately. Like, we probably got around 60 or 70 or 80 clicks, I don't remember, and it didn't went that well. And then like 2 days more, still not that great. We get like 1–2 conversions, but then really, after I waited a little bit longer, made some changes, added some negative keywords, you know, optimized the campaign and all these kind of things, I don't remember when exactly it was, but somewhere after the 4th or 5th day, suddenly conversions were coming in. And at peak so far, it is a relatively expensive product. I think we had around 15 conversions in one day for an expensive product that was a little less than $100. So this combined, of course, means that you need to be able to actually know when to stop testing. And the key takeaway here is that don't stop testing just because you didn't make the sales yet. I looked at the data, and what I realized is that our product, or our campaigns, these were all shopping campaigns because our search campaigns didn't do well, there was some kind of indication that they will do somewhat well. And this is, like I mentioned in several videos already, people were spending good time on our store. Like, people were regularly spending 40 seconds, 60 seconds, 80 seconds in our store. And I believe that, you know, the rate was so good, especially compared to our other products. We had products where people were just spending an average of like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And on this it was 60, 80, 90, 100. So I thought, well, there must be something to it, right? So there must be something to it that people stick that long. And basically I was right, because if I would have done what many people do, like spending $20 on a product, $30 on a product, and then canceling it, I would have never seen these by now probably few $1,000s in sales after these 8 days if I would have stopped too early. And this is probably the key takeaway in here. I know it's not that easy. You cannot like spend indefinite amount of money just because maybe at some point you make the conversion. But the point is, look for these micro conversions. Look for these micro milestones. In our case, like I said, it was the very long session duration. We knew that we were onto something when people were spending that much time on our page for that product. Now, if people would have spent an enormous amount of time for all of our products, probably we would know that, well, we cannot continue with all of these products, right? We cannot move on with like 20 products at the same time just because for all of these time was very long that people spent on our site. But because there was a pattern that only like the product I talk about and actually one other product where the time was long and the other was pretty short, we knew that we were onto something with these two, and I canceled the majority of the other ones relatively early. I of course still keep testing a few products all the time until I see either that they will be good or that they will be bad. If they are bad, I just push them away, I just cancel them. If they do good, I put them in a separate campaign where they are isolated and where I can really have full control over this one particular product. But this is the big thing here, guys. If you test and you don't know yet if it will be successful, wait for some kind of signals, whether it's signals in a good way or signals in a bad way. Signals in a good way, like I said, can be micro conversions, very long session duration, add to carts, checkouts. Of course, sales would be ideal, but all these kind of things that indicate that people want to go down the funnel, so that people want to learn more about your products, want to buy it at some point in time, because people won't spend 3 minutes on your store or on your product page, maybe even if they're not interested. So probably there was just this one little thing that missed. Probably, you know, if you would have added like a live chat where people could ask you a question, you would be able to make the conversion. Or probably they just needed some more clarification on shipping. Probably, you know, you should have added a video so that people can see the product in action. Probably you need to do retargeting because these people were not ready to buy yet, but probably in 2 days they are. So these are all things that you can do if you have some kind of micro conversion, some kinds of validation. It doesn't always have to be the final sale that you need to make. It doesn't always have to be like, I made 10 sales, so this is a winner. You can identify, and you need to identify a winner early on, because if you always wait for the sales, then you're spending too much, and if you're cutting products too early, well, you will hardly find a winning product if you do this all the time. So key takeaway here is find a balance between cutting too early and cutting too late, and do this by watching for micro conversions. So like I said, these can be all kind of things, and it really depends on your business. In general, the more expensive the product is, normally the more micro conversions you should look for, and especially if people buy like a $300 product, typically the session duration is longer than for, let's say, a $20 product, because people want to compare more, they want to read more about your brand. Probably they also read your About Us page and all these kind of things, because they want to make sure that you're actually a trustworthy and legit business. But, well, I've mentioned it multiple times now, guys, I can't stress this enough. Micro conversions are key. If you know how to really identify the right micro conversions, and if you really know how to identify if this is going to be it. Now, of course, you will never be 100% accurate. You will never know whether actual, like, spending 2 minutes on your page will result in a sale at some point in time. In our case, in this case, it went very well. I know many other cases where it went tongue twist, whether it went well like that. I can't even talk today. And this is what you should be looking for. You always have to make like a balance. You cannot know, but you can get the most out of it by looking for these things and not cutting too early or too late. Now, this topic is a little confusing, and also like probably I switched a little bit often in this video between the different thoughts. So let me know if you have any questions about it. It was a little bit of theory here today, so we weren't looking at actual AdWords campaigns and actual AdWords stuff as usual, but I hope that it's still some insights for you here. Like I said, if you have any questions, if something is unclear because it was a little much at once, let me know in the comments, ask the question. I will go there and I will answer your questions right there. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like, please subscribe if you want to really crush it with Google Shopping and learn more about it, also e-commerce in general. And of course, if you want to really get the most out of it from AdWords and Google Shopping now that it's still relatively new, take the opportunity and enroll in my e-commerce, in my AdWords for e-commerce training program, the eCom PPC Academy, that you can find in the description as well. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. I really hope that you join us, but I also hope that you subscribe to this channel and watch the next video. And until then, I wish you all the best with your business. See you next time. Bye bye.